15, 20-minute sessions for you, so they're not all going to be 30, 40-minute sessions. Of course, I'm keeping it nice and refreshed for you. But before we move on to our next short panel discussion, we're going to show you a quick video from our presenting partners and sponsors, Deliverect.
Running a modern-day restaurant is no easy task. With delivery and online order platforms come new revenue streams, but also new obstacles and inconveniences. Manually copying orders from multiple channels to your own point of sale is time-consuming and can lead to incorrect orders, delays in the kitchen, and unnecessary stress and admin. But managing your online sales just got easier. Deliverect connects all your online and delivery channels directly to your existing point of sale. It's a universal solution, integrating order platforms around the world to your EPOS and sending orders straight to the kitchen. This means no more manual entries or associated errors, and a smoother flow from your point of sale to the kitchen and out the door, sending order status updates to all relevant channels along the way. Deliverect also streamlines your online menu management, so you can update menus across all sales channels with just one click. We make it easier than ever to snooze out-of-stock items, experiment with promotional deals, and manage menus for multiple locations, brands, and platforms. By combining all orders to your own EPOS, Deliverect gives you a better overview of your business, so you can manage inventory, track revenue growth, and highlight opportunities across various platforms with ease. We work with restaurants, dark kitchens, and global food chains around the world to make them faster, smarter, and increase their revenue. All of this saves you time and money, so you can focus on what you do best, serving delicious food. Ready to get on board? Deliverect.
Well, thank you again for Deliverect. And now we're going to move on to a short panel discussion for you, around about 20 minutes, just to give you a heads up on the timings today. The next discussion will be about dark kitchens and the future of food delivery. So please, could you welcome onto the stage our panelists, Tamer El-Khayat, the co-founder of Pinza, and of course we have Nadine Benchafi, the founder of and CEO of Ab Fab Foods. Please, could you come and join us on the stage? And also our moderator for this session, Naji Haddad, the General Manager, ME for Deliverect. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us on the stage.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. It's great to be in live events again, I guess, right? Tamer and Nadine, thank you for joining us. So yeah, today we're talking about the emergence of dark kitchens, virtual brands, etc. in the Middle East. So Tamer, you started Pinza on a dark kitchen in 2015, right? So can you tell us a little bit more on how did you start it? I mean, what happened? How do you maintain a market share on a dark kitchen concept? How do you maintain market share? How do you get visibility, etc.?
Thank you for having me. Well, when we started back in 2015, I think we got lucky that we decided to start a pizza delivery concept. I mean, if you all remember back in college days, right? You order the Domino's, the Papa John's, and pizza is the perfect cuisine for food delivery. I think fast forward with COVID, I don't think we had to really readjust the business, right? It was always a delivery. We just had to be COVID compliant and kind of re-strategize how we do things. I still remember back in 2015, you know, with Talabat and 24H, I think a lot of people remember, you know, that credit card machine that rings so loud. I think, like back in the day, I think it would take you 3 to 5 minutes to punch in an order. And now I think thanks for the likes of Deliverect, right, where everything is integrated and within a matter of seconds you have the order in the kitchen with no mistakes, right? I mean, we had a lot of mistakes. Back in the day, mispunching an order or getting a direct order through a call center and understanding what the customer is actually looking for. So I think the business has transitioned. I mean, as we all know, and I think whether you want to call it a dark kitchen or a ghost kitchen, I think we started the business first as a delivery concept. We had a central kitchen in Business Bay, and we wanted to scale the business as soon as we could. I think now, I mean, the focus is always kind of really, the way I see it is letting the aggregators focus on what they're good at. I remember when Deliveroo first started in 2016, they were like, listen, you know, you focus on what you're good at, let us focus on what we want to be good at, is really getting the food delivered within 32 minutes. I think back in the day, the delivery average time was 60 minutes, and that was acceptable. I grew up in Dubai, and delivery was always there. So I think we've seen a lot of transition when it comes to the tech. Now we have the aggregators that basically give us the brand awareness, right, for new customers to get to know the brand. We all know Dubai is very transient as well. So you spend all this money into customer acquisition, right? But what is the lifespan on the customer, right? So you spend a lot on Facebook ads, doing first-time customer discounts, but then you need to keep on kind of spending all this money to generate new customer sales. I think now with Deliveroo spending all this money, it's all about not really pinpointing Deliveroo, but obviously they're the market leader when it comes to food delivery. So yeah, and now the focus would be like for us, for example, when we first started, we spent a lot of money on our website. You know, getting the customer to really order directly, customize their pizzas and kind of like the preferences and add-ons. But then Chatfood was founded, and it made it so much easier for us to kind of really do the updates on the menu and that's what we're doing now with Deliverect. Like Zonga said, you know, let us just focus on what we do best, so you guys can focus on what you need to focus on. And our focus is always the product, to be different, right? And yeah, I mean, it goes. I mean, if you want to speak on the virtual brands, that's also a topic on its own.
Well, we'll come to that for sure. Now, Nadine, you're also one of the early adopters into all of that space, right? So can you tell us a little bit more on how did you adopt to the dark kitchen models, virtual brands, etc.?
Yeah, so for us it was very different because Tocado, you know, back in 2015, 2016, Tocado already had about 12, 13 stores. So we had a pretty good coverage over Dubai. And as we're trying to grow, we tried to do delivery ourselves. Failed relatively, like pretty miserably because, you know, you're taking orders on the phone, it's customizable, you get the mistakes, and then the driver's lost, and you name it. So when Deliveroo kind of launched, we were one of the first brands on there. And we were really pretty gobsmacked by how successful, you know, it took, you know, how it took off. Our sales just took off. So when and we were good. Our prep time was nailed, was really low. We were super fast, no mistakes on the orders. And so it was actually probably more initiated by them that said, you know, you've got pretty good footprint. Why don't you look at launching, you know, a virtual brand? Tocado does customization. That's what we do well. So we looked at, you know, where can we apply that customization concept? And that's kind of where we went into the health space. We thought there was something missing. And so we kind of created the first kind of customizable macro calorie counted kind of bowls, which was under NutriBowl, and that kind of took off. On the Circle side, it was different because there again, it was about using your real estate. You're trying to maximize your real estate and get the maximum revenue out of your existing stores. And there it was about what are the times of day that we're not that busy. So breakfast and dinner. Believe it or not, my Circle now is super busy at breakfast, but at the time it wasn't. And so that's where Breakfast Shop was born, and then the Chicken Shop kind of was born, to kind of try to maximize use of our staff and our assets effectively. So it was more, I would say, of a commercial maximization rather than, I would say, genuine kind of brand building. But then we kind of worked on how, you know, we build our brands. But it's very hard to keep launching, you know, and then, you know, you get carried away. You think, oh, this is really good, let me launch more. And then you realize it's just very hard to build true brands, especially as the market got invaded by 1,000 other virtual brands. And then you realize you started to take your eye off your core business, and our stores are the heart and soul of our business at the end of the day, and we needed to kind of cut back. So all the kind of new virtual stuff we do really is about mainly focusing on the brands, and we very rarely now launch kind of just virtual brands. But we have modified, we have rationalized, especially with COVID, our stores. So yes, some might be more kind of cloud-based delivery, kind of heavy stores, and some are, you're front-facing, So we don't do delivery out of Dubai Mall. We just don't see why we should. We're not there to do delivery. So that's we try to balance the delivery ones with the real experiential kind of stores.
That's interesting. So when you say that Tocado has the front face, but you were able, so you maintained, you managed to get the brick and mortar successful, and then you scaled on different cloud kitchens, so to reach more like landscape. So basically, brick and mortar is still important for you, and just to scale from that to cloud kitchens.
Yeah, so I mean, if we were launching Tocado today, with what we know today, we certainly wouldn't launch it with the same footprint that we launched it with. We'd probably launch it with 5 or 6 stores, and then the rest would probably be kind of dark kitchen, cloud-based. But I believe that the true kind of brand experience, and I kind of will continue to push that, the true brand experience really does come from the stores. You control all the touch points in the stores. It's not sitting with an aggregator. You're not fighting for that kind of real estate space. From where the customer enters right all the way through, even if there's a complaint, how you handle it, everything is all with you. And that's kind of how you build that true customer experience. So when they then go to look at delivery, they will naturally gravitate to the stores that they know, that they've been to, that they trust. And as long as you kind of can deliver that consistency across time and don't take your eye off the ball, then that's kind of for us really the focus. In COVID, we launched 4 new brands, 3 are physical stores, and only 1 really was virtual. So our focus is, and even the virtual one, we would love to give it a physical store eventually, if we can. So our belief is that they should all have something. Okay. Physical to kind of convey the experience, to give you content when you're then doing online, to kind of really promote that. I think bricks and mortar and experiences are here to stay. We just have to adapt.
So Tamer, building on that, like Pinza was purely on dark kitchens. How did you manage to get that experience to the customers, the same brick and mortar experience, that brand loyalty, etc.? How did you guys manage to get that on the delivery concept only at an early stage in 2008 and 2015?
Look, I mean, I come back from hospitality background, working for Four Seasons Hotels for 10 years. So I was strictly in operations, is really to understand how to get the guest right. What we've done is really focused on the packaging and the product, right? Obviously, you need to have a good product for you to maintain the customer retention. So I think we were always connecting with the customer through the packaging. Funny enough, like we write notes, whether it's a welcome back, happy 10th order, whatever it is. I mean, obviously we had more data back in the day because we had a lot of. I mean, if you recall, everything was a marketplace. So you would get the customer name, customer phone number, address. Back when you used to bombard everyone with flyers, right? And we kind of stopped that right now. So I think it's more about focusing on the product, connecting with the customer, and yeah, I mean, it's really getting it right every time. You try your best, and I think now it's just all about the consistency.
And now Pinza, so you have Pinza, now you're building more brands, right? How are you coming up with new brands? And what is your strategy on getting new brands or building it?
Look, I think the first virtual brand that we created, I think it's based on the data we got from Deliveroo, right? I think we were in the first dark kitchen, the second dark kitchen for Deliveroo worldwide. The first one was in London, second one was in JLT. So we were privileged to have that relationship, and we had the data, right? The data said that we needed to launch something more focused on healthy foods. And what we've done is we created Bright Kitchen, which is really focused on salads and toast. So we cross-utilized the ingredients from Pinza, fresh veggies, proteins, and everything we had to do to really get was the greens. Fast forward now with COVID, what we've realized that we needed to leverage from our dough. So we focused on creating by Pinza brands, right? We've created a brand that's recognized on the delivery platforms. I think from the retention rate to the app rating and being consistent across all the platforms. So we decided to leverage from Pinza and kind of create a by Pinza brand. Whether it's gyros, we use the same flour. Whether it's buns, we use the same flour as well. Now we're coming up with a Menaish concept, which is called Ajina. So basically, it's also using the same flour. So it's really, so when you see by Pinza, and we've had the customer that actually really enjoyed the experience, would most likely give us a try. And based on that, we build these concepts. It's all about, utilizing the ingredients you have. We're privileged to have a central kitchen that can help us to really scale this. And we've done the same across, also in London, although we had to shut down due to COVID, but that was another milestone for us to operate in London, and hopefully we'll be back soon.
Very soon, yeah. So for both of you, how do the channels, the aggregators support you? I mean, how can you leverage that to the maximum? Nadine, if you can tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, I mean, we have a mix. So some brands are exclusive on one aggregator, and so where you have that relationship, you tend to get more support. It also just means you're more focused in terms of what you do. The challenge really for us in general, I would say on aggregators, it's just very promotional driven. And on some of them, it's really just the discounts that work well. And that's that's a huge issue for us, because this is actually, at the end of the day, this is something that costs us 20, 30% more, and yet we're telling the consumer you can come and get it for less. So we're not actually educating the consumer to, if you want to save money, like in the UK, you typically will charge more. So the same item will be more on the aggregator, and the same in Singapore than it is. So at least you're educating the customer. If you want it for less, you need to get up and go and pick it up yourself. And at the moment, we're doing the opposite. So on top of us paying the fees, they're getting it, we're having to discount on top of that. And that's kind of probably like one of the biggest challenges that we've been trying to work more with aggregators, to try to say, look, how do we, this isn't brand building. And the other challenge then we see is obviously because all these hundreds of virtuals come in, they use the discounting as an avenue. And so it's really hard to try as like true brands to speak up above that and try to, try to kind of stand out without the 50% off that you kind of just see all across. So we worked probably, we've worked with all the aggregators quite closely. We've tried different, there's the clicks, there's the, you buy the banners, and we try to do quarterly, we meet with them, actually with some of them we meet literally on a monthly basis. We plan campaigns, up to 6 months in advance, and we get all the content ready, and then you kind of also have to work within their, within what they need to do as well. So we try to incorporate them in some of our core promotions, and then they also obviously try to ask us to take part in some of their big kind of themes.
Okay. Tamer, do you have anything to add to?
No, I think to go back to what Nadine said, I think virtual brands, I think there is the mindset that, let's launch virtual brands. If it doesn't work, we'll close it. But again, if you keep doing that, what happens to the industry, right? To everybody, right? So you're launching brands, there's no care, there's no love, there's no identity, right? You're just launching for the sake of launching, but then you're affecting yourself, you're affecting also your other restaurant owners as well, because you will lose a customer, right? If you're launching a concept and you're just going crazy with discounts at 40%, then you have those discount hunters that they're going to go and order it. So you're affecting others because you probably don't care. Like, it doesn't cost me much to launch a virtual brand, but in reality, it is costing you money, and it's actually affecting everyone across the board. So I think launching a virtual brand is easy, yes, but again, there's a lot of work that needs to go behind the scene to make sure that you're executing the right brand and kind of fitting a gap. So what is the aggregator telling you? Do we need more pizza concepts? Do we need more burgers? Indian cuisine? What is it, right? So I think the more data that you collect and you use the data in the right way, I think it just creates a healthy environment for everyone in the industry. I mean, right? Yeah.
That's perfect. Thanks. We have a couple of minutes left. We can open the questions to the audience. Does anybody have any questions to Nadine or Tamer?
Oh, hang on a minute. There's somebody with a question. Just going to run over here. Thank you for asking a question. It's pretty quiet without you.
Hannah, hi.
Hello,
I didn't know you were here.
I am here. My name is Hannah, and I represent the company Nystro, one of the partners on the screen. Our service is a bit secondary. It has to do more with branding. We do background music streaming. And we found that one of our main sectors is cafes and restaurants. And my question to both of you, Tamer and Nadine. Nadine, you said something about brick and mortar is here to stay. And obviously you're both talking about launching virtual solutions to the F&B industry. So my two questions. How important do you think the music experience, the background music experience is to the customer experience in the brick and mortar? And the second question is, do you see any intersection with music for your virtual solutions? Just curious on both ends.
Shall I start? Yeah, so music has been an endless debate for us at Tocado. So we initially once had, I think, a DJ create a whole playlist, and then it got monotonous, and then we've been kind of trying to find different solutions. But music is pretty crucial for us. It's a big part of the atmosphere when you walk into a place, and it's a big determinant of hanging around. And it's very different between Circle versus Tocado, which is a bit more upbeat, and one which is a little bit more kind of mellow. But in terms of trying to take it home, and we've worked, and we haven't yet successfully done it, but we've done these kind of Tocado feast boxes, and we kind of say, you can do your fiesta at home. And I've been harping on my team for probably forever, so they'll remember this. We wanted to create playlists that we can kind of then say to the customer, well, when you receive this as part of your package, right, you just go onto YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and here's a specially curated kind of music to kind of set you in the right mood and try to emulate as much of the experiences at home. So music, I think, is crucial on both. I wouldn't say for all of our virtual brands, but I think for some of them it would be more relevant than others.
Cool. Tamer, do you have anything to add to this?
I mean, I think for us it's a bit difficult to kind of integrate the music. But yeah, I mean, I think as an experience it's amazing. Like Abercrombie, if you go to their app and you go shopping online, you get that feeling that you're in the store, right? So I think to do that, so maybe we'll get Chatfood to work on integrating some music. I don't know if there's anybody from Chatfood here, but it would be good to integrate some music into the app.
Well, thank you for that answer. Actually, it's one of the things that we're facing in the region for licensing issues is that licensing for business music is very different than licensing for B2C. So may I suggest very unabashedly that you look at Nystro for your business needs for music, because that's one of the things in the region that we're trying to pioneer when it comes to licensing, especially for the F&B industry. So if you want that catered playlist,
We'll definitely do.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the floor? Oh, gentleman at the back. Keeping you busy, panel. Hang on a minute. There we go.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Still good morning. My name is Dinesh. I'm from Apparel Group. Just would like to ask question from both of you guys. This tech-heavy, data-heavy aggregators, you guys and we have no control over customer information. How
True.
do we maintain guest loyalty? What is the solution? I mean, these guys have changed the whole world of loyalty. How do we bring it back?
Look, I think it depends. We have more control, right, on direct ordering. So we give that loyalty points. We do different type of promotional, not campaigns, but the bundles, right? So kind of gets the customers to come back. I think now Deliveroo, they're launching their own loyalty, right? So the more you order, the more points you get. So I think it's getting tougher, right, to kind of maintain that customer connection. But I think you just need to try and keep focusing on maintaining the ones that order online and customer acquisition, and kind of giving them all these loyalty points through, like I say, we use Chatwood as our direct online ordering.
I mean, I think from our side, because we're lucky, we have the bricks and mortar stores, and so we've relatively recently launched a loyalty program, one, to overcome the level of discounting that we were actually doing in a lot of the stores. So we kind of created the Fab Foodies Club. You earn, instead of getting a 20% discount, you earn 20% cash back. That way you get the customer data, and in return, you get loyalty because they're going to come back and spend that cash back in any one of your stores. So I think as you also, if you're lucky enough to have a big enough footprint, there are means and ways to try to build your own kind of customer database, and then obviously you need time and you need to understand it and how to use it properly. But yes, it is much more challenging as the aggregators hold a lot more of that data than we do. But there's definitely ways for us to kind of, I wouldn't say fight back, but kind of, claw our way back to trying to get that data back and trying to control some of those relationships ourselves.
One more. My question is for Tamer. As a virtual brand with Pinza, what are your thoughts about actually going the other way around and from virtual to bricks and mortar? And is this something you've contemplated, looked at, to change it into an experience which in some areas as a virtual brand it lacks?
To be honest with you, yeah, that's a debate we have, my partners and I, Faisal, who's here, and I think it is. But the way I think we're tackling this right now is launching online. Try to get as much feedback as possible, right, from customers before we really justify which location we need to open as a brick and mortar. But yes, we've launched Pun's sandwich concept. It's doing extremely well. And I think it's the right time for us to kind of pick the right location. It's pretty challenging, with the infrastructure and everything else. So yes, it is something that we think about. We get approached by malls, but I'm a bit scared. I think you gotta make the right decision these days, especially not knowing what the future might hold. So we're being very conservative, but at the same time growing. I think our strategy right now is focusing with Reef Technology, especially with the recent acquisition. So we're in Saudi already, and we're looking into expanding into Europe. So there's that side of the business, and obviously focusing on which brand we need to start with the brick and mortar.
Well, thank you very much, panel. We have run out of time, unfortunately.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, if you want to chat to our panelists or our moderators, feel free to collar them outside. Thank you, guys. Round of applause, indeed. A great subject. Now, we've got a couple of short presentations, about 5 or 10 minutes each, the next two presentations, just to give you a heads up of how the timings are going today. Our next presentation is from Andrew Turner, the Institutional Division Manager of Reza Hygiene. He's going to be talking to you about the importance